videos. We have an officer basically around the neck area.
These two retired Vegas cops, now podcast hosts.
They don't have ID. They can't get into a hotel room. To get them the help they need, especially if someone even gets arrested. A lot of people don't know how the justice system works.
But I want someone to actually know them and know that it's...
Hey, hopefully, hey, no fingers in the air. We got a finger in the air. We got David Kohlmeyer, the problem solver. Welcome today to the problem solver every single week, bringing on amazing people. Today, as usual, my famous superstar celebrity Cambodian host, Janti. Janti is here.
Hello,
Thank you.
darling. Hello.
Thank you, Janti. How
Hello,
are you
you're
today?
welcome. You're welcome.
Came all the way here from Henderson, flew
Yeah.
in, and I appreciate you
To
being here.
grace you with my presence. Yes, I know.
Yes.
I know.
Thank you so much.
My
Today,
pleasure.
we have a special guest. We have Sally Allen, who is, well, welcome, Sally.
Sally,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be
Yay.
here.
Everyone is always excited to be on the problem solver. It's kind of a common thing here. So Sally Allen is a coach, a speaker, an author, a podcaster. Is there anything else you don't do? Savior.
No. I think that's about that. And that covers just about everything if you
Everything.
think about it. Yeah.
What about therapy? No therapy?
There is some therapy in there. There's mentoring. I did mentoring
Okay.
for several years also. So that's where I started.
So as usual, when we bring people here on the show, we want people here to help my co-host, Janti, go to another level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just me, not him.
I'm completely fine.
not
There's no
Kohlmeyer.
issues.
He's so normal.
Listen, the fact that you said you're completely fine
Means I'm
tells
not
me that
normal.
you're not normal.
See, she's a
She's very
smart,
good.
Not fine.
smart gal.
We
You
better-
know what? It's okay to not be okay.
I like that. Is that your slogan? It's okay? That's like a church.
No. I
Church.
looked at you and I just thought I felt like you needed that.
I do.
Thank you, Sally.
I do need that.
She.
I need help. That's why they say actually that women go to therapy and men start podcasts. So I'm here, instead of going to therapy, it's much more expensive.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
accept insurance. So here it's like, hey, let's go to Sticky Paws. Let's
Yeah.
open up a studio. Let's open up a podcast.
Yeah, well, listen, every time I come in, I can ping you and you can come in for a 30-minute session. I'll be happy.
So
to do
I've
that.
been doing a podcast, aka therapy, for the last 20 years.
And how's that working out for you?
It's not working out. It just doesn't stop. I just got to keep coming weekly. They keep saying, keep coming weekly. It's going to really help out. And I'm on my 21st year now at the problem solver. So it's been a long time.
I think it's helped him out a little bit.
John T has only been here for 17 years. She's been doing it for 17 years.
17, yeah.
So
That's a long time, right?
let's back up a little. You guys have been podcasting for 17 years?
No.
21 for me, 17 with her.
Don't
What's he
believe
talking
what
about?
he
I'm
says.
just like, wait a minute. It doesn't make sense. Shanti, I want to say something.
Sure.
He said, you're from Cambodia?
Yes.
I visited Cambodia 7 times.
Really? Just.
I left
for-
my heart in Cambodia.
Wow.
I went for volunteering. There is an NGO there that works with sex trafficked kids, and I just couldn't stop going
You are
back.
an
So I did it
angel.
for 7 years.
Wow.
That's a lot.
You
7
are an
years?
angel. Yeah.
So like 7 times.
I kept going back every year.
What made you do Cambodia? Like what made you?
So I like to do things that people are afraid to do, and that people don't like to do. They're called like the bottom of the barrel volunteering. I like to go in jails. I started going in jails 20 years ago,
Yeah.
sitting people in jails. And then there was this trip to Cambodia, and I thought, why not go check it out? When I had the time and the resources to do it, so I went there, and what I saw, what I witnessed, and what I experienced just broke my heart. And once you know,
Yeah.
I couldn't stop going back. I just went back every year and helped that NGO.
Do you work with an organization or you're doing it yourself?
So our church partner with an organization called Agape International Ministries,
Okay.
and they've been there for, God, over 20 years, helping children.
Wow. What do you do when
Yeah.
you're there? Just curious.
So when we're there, it's so important. We bring leadership training because what they do is empower the Cambodians to actually take over different parts of the ministry. When they're rescued, they have a restoration home for the girls, and they are empowering them to get jobs. So we go there we do a little bit of English lessons with them, and we do leadership training, but also with the little kids. Here's the key: the brick factories. You know about the brick factories? The
No.
kids that work in the brick factories, they're the ones who are being trafficked. And you ready for this?
By their parents.
Some of them are trafficked when they're 2 years old
By their family,
by
too.
their families.
Yeah.
Now,
So sick.
we are taught, we do something called Kids Club with them, and we show them what proper touching is, because they don't know what proper touching is. So that's one of the things we do also when we're there. We love on the kids
Yeah.
and just show them, like, what it looks like.
Will
to
you
help-
let me know when you do that next, when you go? I would love to be a part of that. I just don't know how to get into it because I don't have the resources and I don't know a lot of people. I'm kind of in my
Yes.
own little world, but I would love to be able to go back and help.
Yeah, absolutely.
with
I'll
you.
let you know next time you
My
go.
God.
Yeah.
Well, you're an angel. Thank you for doing that. I mean, it's amazing. Cambodia keeps coming up too with a lot with the sex trafficking
Yeah.
places. I mean, Cambodia is like a huge place for it. And I mean, I don't see that obviously when I go because I'm not going to those
Right,
places or
right.
areas.
We went to Swipak, that little village in
Yeah.
Swipak. It was infested with brothels, and the organization went in and changed the entire village into a restoration area. So it's super
Wow.
cool.
Wow.
Who's coming into like 2-year-olds or the other like ages, young ages? Like, are they coming from like tourists that are coming into?
Westerners,
Westerners. A lot of
a
Americans.
lot of
apparently.
Americans, a lot of Americans.
Americans
Yeah,
are
you'd be
fucking
surprised.
sick, Amazing.
I haven't seen the movie that just came out.
Yeah, Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom.
It's
Have you seen it?
It's intense.
It's very intense.
I want to do something where, where we take over, even though it's been out for about a week or something like that, just to like have a, rent out a theater and anyone that wants to see that basically.
Yeah.
They can come see
Remember
the,
that thing you did in downtown last time?
Yeah, I wanted to do like a big theater,
Yeah.
just like put it out there. Anyone that wants to come down to
let's
watch
do
the movie.
that. That
Can we
that
do
would be amazing. It's such an intense
I
movie.
saw you saw my post today, and it's interesting this coming up because I didn't know this topic was going to come up. But basically, they were saying that Trump was saying, right? You saw that post?
Yes, that he
That,
will kill
No,
pretty
he was
much.
saying a death penalty for
Death
anyone
penalty,
that does
yeah. Crimes against
sex trafficking, right?
Yeah,
Is
sex
what he was
trafficking.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
sex
looking it up real
trafficking.
quickly.
Good for him.
It's interesting that that one would say that
I'll
traditionally.
pull it up for you, Dave.
You'll pull it up.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I saw that.
What are your thoughts with that? I mean, you would think that it's actually you would think that it's one of them that should be. Well, death penalty, right? Extremely
They're
serious,
gonna-
but this is just as serious.
They're going to eliminate half of the Americans. They're disgusting. Yeah.
Well, the thing
there's
is,
a
but
lot.
the problem with it is that most of them are going right to. I haven't seen the movie. Are going to like Cambodia, right?
Yeah.
Where they're going to these Asian
Different
countries.
Right,
Countries,
different countries. They go to the
Yeah.
countries, but a lot of it also is happening right in your backyard.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
a lot
it's-
happens here. We
A
spoke
lot
to,
happens there. Yeah.
It does scare me in regards to like even like my kids being young. Like I keep saying that I want like a GPS like in their body somehow, or because if you get
No, don't
if
get
you
Mark of the Beast, please.
No, but if you get like a wristband or something like that, right? Someone like if you get kidnapped, I'm kind of concerned because I have two young girls, and like if you put a wristband, right, someone can take it off. Or I was thinking
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
about the Apple. What do you call it? Those
The Find Your Phone on isn't there
no,
an app
the
on
what do you call
Apple?
the Apple? George, what do you call them?
AirTags?
The AirTags, like putting them in
Right,
their
right.
sneakers and like doing a little bit
Yeah.
more in general. I
You
mean,
know-
they go to a school, right? So they're fine
Mm-hmm.
for the time being, but
You know, it would be funny if all this propaganda with what they're doing now, with everything coming out and us seeing, with our eyes now, all this disgusting stuff that's coming
Yeah.
out, and that's really prevalent around the whole world, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if this is kind of a setup to get into the chipping. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
one reason, right? Hey, you want to protect your kids from getting kidnapped, from
Right,
getting
right.
sex trafficked, whatever. They're using it as propaganda, possibly to get everyone chipped. Careful with that.
Yeah, it
But
could
what-
be.
what's,
But what
what-
I
so
would
what's the
do.
negative side in regards to the chipping?
So before we
about
go
my-
to the chipping, I want to say
We'll go there.
if you want to help your children, I would say make them aware. And the way you make them aware is that you understand how they're being recruited, how young children are being recruited for sex trafficking.
But some are just getting snatched up.
Some are just getting snatched up, yeah. But for the most part, they're being recruited. And the way they're being recruited, and this happens more in the, in like the
Small
North
places.
Las Vegas or the
Oh.
poorer neighborhoods, because the kids that don't have parents who are home and they're looking for that attention,
Yes.
right? You have these pimps go into the area,
Mm-hmm.
and what they do is they give them attention. They give them things,
Yeah.
and eventually they lure them away like
Yes.
that. But there's gosh, I did it years ago. I did several classes, but I remember years ago they were talking about the CEO pimps. There were different types of pimps.
Oh, yes, yes.
There's a sophisticated, and then there's the CEO pimps who actually older girls will tell them they'll find them jobs, and they'll bring them to different states, and then they isolate them from their parents, and
Yeah.
they'll give them jobs. And it's not like modeling jobs or anything. So we'll give you real jobs, and that's how they bring those girls and isolate them from it. So there's so many different ways they do it. It's not just snatching.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's a very sophisticated operation.
Yes.
There was some type of video about George. I'm not sure if you could find it, but they were interviewing a guy who did like sex trafficking that got out of jail.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I'm not sure if we could find this one because I haven't seen it, but he was saying,
Romeo Pimp, Gorilla Pimp, and
Yeah,
CEO
and
Pimp.
CEO Pimp.
And Romeo Pimp used to be, it was called
Romeo.
something else. No,
Yeah,
there's a different name for it. Cupcake. It used to be called Cupcake Pimpin'. Yeah, that's when they're your boyfriend, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or act
they're
like your
they're
boyfriend.
sugar daddy, and they give you whatever you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
but in the interview they were saying how that if the person, doesn't have like a father figure, or if they're very big with going to church, they would stay away from them. Like, basically they were looking for certain people, like profiling of someone that would
Right.
be a good victim, like if you were going to go to the church a lot, you're more likely to talk to the pastor or priest, right? Or if you don't have a father figure, then basically you're more likely to
Right.
infiltrate the family member. But I'm not sure if you could find that. You can look around. But I wanted
Yeah,
to see
but
the
how
video.
about- how about
like how they're
these-
really trying to victimize and really.
But how about these pedophiles that are acting like the head of the community, on the DL?
Well, a lot of these
they're
priests,
pedophiles.
right, and
Yes.
all these
So how do you even know?
dioceses, what do you call the
How do you even know
church?
how to protect yourself and your family and your kids from someone that you
Right.
think
I always, with my
are
kids,
respectable?
I think with my kids in general, like when I'm with them, I always try to do like either affirmations, because we don't learn like self-improvement in school. I'm sure you could talk about that as well as being a coach, but we don't learn self-improvement in school and
Right.
positive stuff. So when I'm with them, I'm always saying, no one touches you, no one
Right.
puts hands on you, you talk with us, like constantly saying it. You're not to
Yeah.
be a victim. Even if someone tries to push them or hurt them,
Right.
you push back, and I'll even role play a little bit with them, like saying, like, it sounds kind of crazy, like, hey, little girl, come over here, and then she's fighting me back. So what, like muscle memory,
Right.
that if something happens, that she knows to do that. And I try to do, I haven't done it in a little bit, but I need to like get back and do it because I wanted
Yeah.
to be prepared of what it
That's
would
right.
sound like, what it would look like, how would
Yeah.
it feel. And I always say if it feels uncomfortable, that you have to say something. But even with bullying, right, or in
Yeah.
the classroom, like little things.
coming from
speaking
you
of
might be like really real.
Yeah.
What is that? So this is a serious topic. You think about.
How old is your daughter?
I have two girls, 8 and 6, and then I have a boy that's 4.
8 and 6. So when they get older, for sure, one of the things, because pimps tend to recruit young boys, 14, 16, and then they go to the younger girls. So even at that age, they recruit them and they go to the younger girls, and you'll never know. So if somebody's
Yeah.
giving you stuff and they're buying you stuff and they're young, it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
But one of the things I want to say, do you know why the sex traffic industry thrives so much?
Why?
Because human body is recurring revenue. If you sell drugs and you sell weapons, it's an exchange and it's over.
It's one time, right?
It's one time, but the human body is just the
Continuous.
Continuous. It's just recurring
Yeah.
revenue, and it's ridiculous how much money they
So
make. It's just
disgusting.
ridiculous.
Yeah, some of these kids are being raped like 30, 40 times in a day,
Oh
apparently.
yeah.
you
In
know?
Cambodia, there's a line called 22 bracelet line. I forgot to wear my bracelet, but it's called 22. Like this girl, 22 times a day, and they would log it. Everybody who comes in 22 times a day.
Oh my
22 times.
God.
She wasn't even a teenager.
So
The
sick.
crazy, just lost my train of thought in regards to that, but I was going to
Sorry,
say something about,
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off course.
no, I mean,
It is a
it's
serious
crazy.
conversation, though.
No, it's a crazy situation. I just
Yeah.
don't know, like in America, like you think how this stuff, would get away. in general, but the truth is that happens all over.
It happens.
Yeah,
all over,
it happens.
And
all
America
over.
is just going outside of here to do it, but obviously they do it here too, until they get caught. Oh man.
Well, I'm kind of more concerned also these days. I feel like when the kids are like on the front of the house, someone could just grab them and so on. Oh, I saw a video the other day. I don't know if I played. I sent it to you where the woman says, "Do not let your daughters go to the bathroom by themselves. Like if you could see the bathroom, like you still go with them." And I've done it recently once because they got a little bit older, where like I was with my younger son and I could see the bathroom and say, "Hey, go together, to
Right.
the bathroom." And I could watch. And then when I watched this TikTok video, basically was saying that we shouldn't allow go there because I don't know if this is kind of maybe wrong to say. I don't know what the video said, but like a lot of men are like playing
They're
the
inside.
transgender. They're inside waiting.
Yes.
Stuff like that, like little weird stuff going on these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's one concern that I have. So these days, the other day I went to the bathroom and I think I opened up the bathroom just to check, Like I don't want to be like a pervert that I'm looking into the
Right,
girls'
right,
bathroom. I'm
right.
sending the girls in. Now they're getting a little bit older. I mean, I can take them to the, the men's bathroom, but they're a little bit older now. So if they're
Right.
going themselves and I'm standing outside, like it's weird, in general. I even told my wife that I think it's, you got to be really careful.
Yeah.
I guess that's what's good about, social media. You watch some of these videos. But also, I'm afraid, like I said, someone could just grab them or take them from the car.
Yeah.
It just
You
kind
never
of makes me
know.
really nervous that you just
gotta-
don't know,
yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful. So careful. these
I was
days.
just thinking about all this the other day, and when I was in elementary school, and I
Yeah.
grew up in Texas, elementary, okay, mind you, I was very tiny, and we were walking to school. We walked about, I don't know, at least 3 miles or something. My parents, whatever, they were kind of doing their own thing. So I was very self-sufficient and I remember walking to school and walking back. And there was be like a small group of us and we're all the same age, but I'm
Yeah.
like thinking, wow, I'm so lucky I didn't get kidnapped. That or I was an ugly child, So they're like, we don't need to get her.
I can't see you being an ugly child.
But it's like, it was amazing. Yeah, we were like 5, 6, 7 years
Yeah,
old, just
yeah.
walking by ourselves along
Yeah.
the side of the road home.
Yeah. We did the same growing up too.
Never got abducted, I'm getting abducted now, or
Yeah.
people are trying to abduct me now that I'm older.
In regard to the chipping, what are your thoughts with that? I always like the fact of the chipping.
do
Why?
it. Don't do it because
Can you do it? Is it something you can do now?
they're starting to.
Okay, my opinion on the chip-in, and this is just my opinion, when I logically think about it and I don't listen to the news or I don't listen to you or listen to you, logically, I don't know what's in that chip and what they're tracking. I have no idea. They created a chip and said, okay, it's so that we can find you. It's GPS, we can find you. But you don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
The
For
chip.
me, yeah, I don't know
I mean, you
what's
see it in
that
movies
chip.
like the army movies where they put a chip inside, right?
Controlled. It's gonna be.
I-
Yeah, but if I'm doing it
truly
for if I'm
believe-
doing it for my kids because I want to make sure that God forbid something to happen, how else where the hell do you know where they go in? I mean, that's why you got them on milk carton boxes. Like, how do you know? You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it like I'm not
Put
the
in their
government.
shoes. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think.
problem
Like,
is if
I don't want
if-
somebody to chip me.
It's a perfect example. When you rob a bank, have you ever robbed a bank before?
Yes.
Yeah, several times.
So if you know about
Yeah.
robbing a bank, normally they
Yeah.
put like
In the money.
a die pack
Yeah.
so that if you walk out of the bank or far away, it blows up and money
Yeah.
basically becomes bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could be GPS. So what they do is they'll go somewhere where there's a bucket of water and they'll dip the money into the water
Yes.
because it basically will stop the GPS device from working.
Okay.
Okay.
So
okay.
it's been a little bit.
It's good to know.
It's good to know if you ever rob a bank.
Yeah.
We didn't do that when we
Bring a
were-
bucket of water.
We're still here though.
So there's different things. So to me personally, if I was going to kidnap somebody, right, I would take off all their clothes, their backpack, get rid of everything because I'd be concerned
Yeah.
about some type of device or
Sure.
the phone or whatever it may be. The only way of doing it is the chip where you can't get that out of the person's body.
The problem with the chip is, okay, now this is on the Bible. I don't know if you read the Bible. Maybe you don't, right? Because you're Jewish.
Tell me.
Yeah. So this is the start of it's going towards the holy war.
Of
and
the end
chip,
times.
Of the end
Of
times.
the
And the
end
chip is
times.
one of them. Now, maybe we can't even help it. This is
Yeah.
just the progression of life as we know it. Or someone reading the Bible, some extremists, and going, I'm going to make
gonna
this
make that
happen.
happen, yeah.
Especially the people with all the money.
The chip and the currency.
They're
the-
fucking
the
bored.
one currency,
yeah,
yeah.
they're bored. And I'm telling you, it's all control, leading to the end times right now of of humanity. Not of Earth, obviously, but of our humanity. You're allowing them. Just like with the COVID, we allowed them to do all the stuff that we did, the lockdown and everything.
What about just the fact that I want to find my kid? God forbid the kid gets kidnapped.
So I have a
I
thought
don't
on
think
that.
the chip is going to be a good idea. That's the
So,
thing.
Why? What
but,
else-
but
what
I
other
do
choice do I
have a
have?
thought on that because I feel at the end of the day, I'm not going to talk you out of doing what you feel you need to do for your children.
I just don't know
keep
what other
them
choice
safe.
you have.
Yeah.
For your children.
Exactly. And I won't talk you out of that. In my personal opinion, I
didn't
don't
know
want
you
to
could
be
do it, though.
chipped. But dogs are being chipped.
Yeah.
Right? Dogs are being
Animals
chipped.
are being
Animals
chipped,
are
yeah.
being
I don't know if
There's-
they're allowing humans to be
So
chipped.
I don't know if
they're
it's happening,
starting-
but it will. I know it will happen. It will happen.
They're testing it right
It
now.
will happen.
George is looking it up here.
They're already testing
what do we
it
got?
on some humans. Yes.
George is like God from
Yeah.
afar. God, what do we got?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it says that
Oh,
there's
Lord.
a company that's like implanted a like small safety pin device in there.
Mm-hmm.
What that device does, I'm trying to figure out for you, but they said it's like $200. Yeah. Stand
Well,
by on me finding
Well,
out.
what they're also trying to do with the whole chipping thing, they're trying to get to that bankless system. Okay, so the chip is going to be another propaganda for them to use and say, okay, now we're gonna go cashless, we're gonna go bankless. You're gonna have this chip. Your life is gonna be so much easy. You don't have to do anything. You go to a store,
yeah,
you walk out, they're just
that's-
gonna scan.
You don't
beep,
need-
beep,
That's
yeah.
it. It's
beep.
a payment device.
Yes,
payment
I
device,
told
yeah.
you. This is the start. I'm telling you, this is how the control is happening. I mean, they already gave us a little sample with COVID, okay? That was just a trial era, just to see how people react, how the world would react. Remember, they got the whole world at the same time.
Yeah.
This chip thing, trust me, it's going to lead to even more control. Now, if you like to be controlled and you would like to live in a society where someone can tell you what to do and what not to do and shut your money off at any time, then please go with the chip. But you know, at the end of this, you're going to be divided. You're going to have the people that will be against that, and then you're going to have people that are for that. So now those people are going to be warring against each other. And we are, I mean, and I guess
We have
we're all going to
started,
die
though,
anyways.
right? We have started with the warring during
We are-
COVID, right?
absolutely.
We had started
That
with
was
the warring for the same reason.
all
Should we
purpose.
have the COVID? Should we have the vaccine, or should we not?
Right.
Is there the nano chips in the vaccine, or there isn't? Is there isn't? You know, we're already doing that.
Yeah.
But what she's talking about, I speak that language. That's biblical language she's talking about. It's all chronologically documented in the Bible,
And happening
and
right
it's
now.
happening right now.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely, like I said, I don't know what other choice there would be really. I mean,
Well,
besides
you
teaching
do
your
have
kids
a choice.
self-defense, but even that, if I had 5 people try
Well,
to grab you, put you in a van.
Oh, you the choice, and as far
Yeah.
as well, yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Even being a female, where you're more likely to be victimized in general.
But
I mean, for your
listen,
safety as well. What are your thoughts? I mean,
David, listen, we have been this way. Okay, humankind have been this way. I mean, for how many thousands of years? They didn't get chipped before, so we survived all this time.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, what do you think the chip's going to do for us?
I just think, God forbid something happened to my child today.
Yeah.
I would somehow be able to go to some GPS system and look up where the hell my child is if they got kidnapped. I mean, that's
This
the
is
basic
part of
I'm
life,
thinking of.
right?
But I would
George,
say
George, our engineer, what do you think? What's your take
About
on
shipping?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're going to
regards
just
my kids.
It's in regards to your kids, like it's not going to matter because they're going to withhold all your money and you won't be able to feed your kids
Yeah.
unless you get the chip. Boom, you're chipped. Like that's where this is headed, 100%. And
Yeah.
I don't think in a small scale, very convenient. All right, it's helping expedite life and the speed that we're moving.
Yeah.
But at a mass scale, like it's the start of a lot of things that people won't be happy about. And trust me, a lot of people, especially gun wielding Americans, are going
Yeah.
to fucking lose it. We
Oh,
will
yeah.
have
Oh, yeah.
our own little civil war again over chippers and
totally.
non-chippers.
Oh, totally. And it's being presented in such an attractive way that we will make your life easier. You don't have
Absolutely.
to handle money. You
Yeah.
don't have to handle credit
Yeah.
cards. You don't have to do any of that. We'll make it so easy for you. And it gets worse than that. Like, it gets so much worse than
The
that.
propaganda of government. You know, that's
so much worse. Giving the government so much control. Do you want that? I don't know. I don't.
I don't.
I don't.
Do you own guns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you're a cop, so I would assume that you would. And you are for gun. Are you?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
gun?
absolutely. Like I said,
Okay.
I just think of my children. I mean, I guess on the larger scale, that's a different story. I think one of the movies even showed once where they scanned it for money wise. Their arm had, some type of SKU code, and they scanned it and stuff like that. I forgot what the movie was. But yeah, I'm just kind of concerned with the kids. I mean, like I said, there is a big
Yeah.
issue if the whole government's doing it for everybody. My main thing is, look, God forbid my kids get, kidnapped. Things are more violent, dangerous. They're good-looking kids. They're girls. Like I'm just concerned.
Okay.
If I'm concerned about them going to the bathroom, getting raped or something happening to them, right? Getting nervous.
But let me ask you this.
Like I said, the Apple, what do you call it?
AirTag.
AirTag.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know why I keep forgetting that.
Apple.
But the AirTags, I mean, I think it's a good start in regards to putting it to the shoes and so on. Something cheap that you can track. But because I'm just still concerned.
But let me ask.
That's for a quick GPS location.
Yeah.
But if something happens long term, you're assuming they get rid of their clothes or something.
David, let me ask you
They
this.
think that
Okay,
way.
so let's say the chip is implemented and we have it in our kids, right? Okay, the kidnappers or the sex traffickers that's going to kidnap your kids. I mean, I think that would be advanced, just as advanced. They're going to have probably some kind of tracking device where they can find the chip exactly where it's at and just cut it out.
Well, that's like that movie. I
Or
forgot
even
what it was.
deactivate it. There are probably
or
devices to
just deactivate
deactivate
it.
it.
I mean, I think for
exactly.
the
So,
time being
what's
right
that gonna
now,
do for you?
with technology, I don't think that they would be that advanced in regards to criminalistic mindset. Would be like, oh, let me go check for
There's always
over time.
When the chip is out,
when
they'll have that.
They'll have that.
Yeah.
There's always a light, darkness, yin, yang.
Yeah.
They will have
No, I'm
that.
saying over the-
Somebody's
On the
going to
same
come
level.
up with
Over
that
the next
on the
5,
same
10
level.
years.
On the same
I would say
level.
today, on the most part, if I was a criminal, they would not have some type of device for figuring that out.
But they
maybe 5
will.
years from now or 10
Yeah.
years from now, right?
David, when the chip comes out and that is available to the
There'll be
public,
some type of device to check.
they will have that device.
But I'm saying for the time being.
The anti-chippers will already have their device. If that's
Device.
the word, anti-chipper.
Okay.
They will
Yeah,
have
So
something.
so the bottom line
Yeah.
is it's not
Yeah.
a good situation. We're gonna have there's gonna be a new
just don't
Sticky
allow
Pies.
it, please.
There's gonna be a new podcast called what is it?
Chippers.
Fucking
Chip Junkies.
Cool Ranch.
Chip junkies.
Junkies.
Cool Ranch.
And all they do is talk about
nacho
chipping.
cheese
Chip junkies.
chip.
Do not
It's like Bitcoin.
allow any more
Okay.
of your freedom to be taken
Taken
away
away.
from you.
That's right.
Please.
This became like a whole
gotta know
Republican thing, like freedom rights, Trump,
I'll bring in the
Guns.
No,
American
it's not
flag.
ammo.
I'm not talking about Trump. This has nothing to
yeah.
do with Trump.
Okay.
It really isn't. This
All
is
right,
about
so-
your civil
All right,
liberty.
So Sally, besides
Okay.
the chips, besides you specializing in chips, I'm joking.
She's the one that invented. She's
like a-
invented it. You don't even
Okay,
know.
besides Cambodia, which
She's-
honestly is
she's
great work that
inventing
you're
it.
doing
Yeah.
in general. And so you have a podcast as well. So tell us a little bit more
yeah.
about coach, speaker, podcast, author. Tell us more about that. Whatever you say, don't say chip.
No.
Whatever you say, we're here focused. We just spent 2 hours and 33 minutes with the chip. I can't chip my children.
makes it angry.
We're all screwed. America's going downhill.
Chip
Planet
makes
Earth.
us emotional.
We're basically all screwed thanks to John T.
So let me. You guys will find this interesting. Where I grew up in my country,
Which is your
when
country?
Guyana,
Kentucky?
Guyana in South America.
Kentucky. Really?
Do you know where Guyana is in South
Guyana.
America?
Yeah,
I know
I
of the
do.
country, but I've,
Oh, you know the
I don't
country? It's
frequent-
not Ghana because everybody
Not,
say
not
Ghana.
Ghana. Guyana.
It's Guyana.
Guyana.
Yeah. I always
Yes.
thought it was Guyana.
It's okay. You can say
Okay.
Guyana too.
Okay.
Add
That's French.
tomato,
Guyana.
tomato.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So, I think you will find it's very interesting that during, I grew up in a very violent culture. So during the political season, I don't know, I just skipped my wife just so random. During political
You're talking
season,
like serious shit. You're like laughing right now.
I know.
You guys are,
We have two parties, right? We have two parties in the country, and during the political season, if you don't vote for who they want you to vote, they go after you with a machete, and they slice you to pieces.
Yeah, see? You want that? That's what the chip's going to do to you.
no, they're taking the chip out with the machete.
I'm telling you. So that's where my story started. That's where my
Wow.
story
How
started.
old were you when you left? Am I saying right, Guyana?
I was 21 when I left.
Okay.
It was
How was
a
it growing
very,
up there?
It was a very third world country.
Yeah.
We had no electricity. We didn't even have a TV when I was growing up, or a telephone, or we just barely had running water. So it was
Communism
very
then?
poor.
It was communism?
It wasn't. We were colonized by the British, and then the country wanted its independence from the British, and the British gave us the independence, which was the worst thing ever because it just got corrupted and went downhill. So
It would have
that's
been better
where.
with the British
Oh, totally. I
ruling
agree. It would have been so much better
as
with
a
the
colony,
British.
right?
Yeah, it just got so much worse once we were colonized. So anyway, once we were decolonized, but that's where my story started. So
You said decolonized, right? It was colonized
right,
first.
it was colonized
They
first, and then
decolonized
they
it.
decolonized. They
And then they
gained
got
their
their freedom.
independence.
Yeah.
They got their
So you got
independence.
freedom, but basically went downhill with corruption.
That's right. The
And is it
government
still
stole
very
everything.
difficult? It's still very.
That's what usually happens.
My husband was telling me he keeps up on this news, but they just found oil in Guyana, and they are delivering like most of the oil in the world now.
Really?
Oh, but it's going to be corrupt in the countries.
Of
that
course.
of the oil.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they found like a lot of oil in Guyana, so which is cool. So that's where I grew up. I came to this country when I was 21 through an arranged marriage.
Oh.
And then I ran away from that. Quickly, in a nutshell, I ran away from that marriage after 10 years. And that's really where my life started, and my resiliency to become a coach started to build. Because I grew up in a culture where you look down, you don't speak unless you're spoken to, can't look people in the eye. I wasn't able to do that. I couldn't speak
because you're a
like
woman.
this.
Because you're a woman.
Because when I'm a woman,
Yeah.
but it's very submissive. Women were very submissive. I was terrified of men. I couldn't do this. This was very hard for me, even looking or talking to men. Because in my country, when you go to high school, the boys are separated and girls are separated. And if teacher wants to punish you, you get to sit beside a boy. Because it was so socially retarded. We weren't allowed to socialize.
Okay.
So you don't know how to interact with males, right? Male and female, we don't know how to interact. So coming here with all those stigmas I grew up with, a lot of abuse, you're ugly, you're stupid, you'll never amount to anything. It took me a minute to get to where I am today.
Wow.
Right? It just took me a minute to get to where I am today. Becoming a coach, I was working in the corporate, it's a long story, so I am shortening it. But becoming a coach, I worked in the corporate world. And my boss had challenged me to, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? Do you want to always be in this role? I've always mentored and coached people, and I recognize that. I love that. I mentored people all my life, and I realized it's a skill that I have, and if I was to, enhance those skills, I could make a business out of it, and that's how I got into coaching. And during COVID, I was coaching with a corporation, and during COVID, I quit, and I finished my book. I had started my book writing about my story and all the abuse and everything. I started my book, so I quit. I finished my book. I relaunched my coaching business, and that's it. I went from there. Wow. My podcast came from a very dark place. My family didn't like that I wrote my story. It's part of their story, but it's also my story. They didn't like that. And I knew they were going to react sort of violently, but not to the extent that they did. They went all over the internet and just eviscerated me. Wherever my book was published, they just eviscerated me.
Your parents.
They said it was just lies.
So my parents died when I was young, and I grew up with some family members. I change all the names in my book and all the characters, so I won't out them here. But I grew up with them, and there was a lot of abuse that went with it, including putting me in an arranged marriage. There was just so much abuse. So they didn't like that so they went all over and it was calling me a liar and say I should be in a mental institution, and it was just so bad. So I went in a dark place for 6 months, and then I got out of it. And I just felt like when I got out of it, I knew clearly in my heart I needed to give people a voice to share their stories. You would understand, I felt God calling me to do that, because I hid my story for 6 months. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't share about my book. So I just came out of it, and I was thinking, how am I going to give people a voice to share their stories of resilience? And was talking to a friend who knew John Orlando, and said, did you hear about Stick Boss Studio? Perhaps you should think about starting a podcast. And that's where my podcast was born.
Oh, wow.
Out of that dark place from my family. So
What's the name of your book?
Triumph Over Failure and Fear.
Okay.
And it's on Amazon.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll get one.
Yeah.
I love reading.
George, we should have the link to the book, and we could add it to the...
For sure, I'll put that in the show
And
notes.
family, honestly, like some family is like your worst enemy. You know, I mean, it's right there.
How'd you last 10 years of arranged marriage? Was it very difficult?
I didn't know any better. You don't know what you don't know. I've been abused all my life. I've been physically, mentally, sexually abused all of my life. So going into an arranged marriage and being abused the same way just felt normal to me. You don't know what you don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And if you're not exposed to other environment, you think this is what your life should be.
Yeah. Wow.
But I call it that there was defining moments in my life when my son was being abused. Then that mama bear instinct kicks in, and you feel like this is not right. It's okay for me. This is all I know. But you feel like this little boy should not be thrown across the room. He should not try to protect me at 4 years old. And that's where that defining moment just opened my eyes to see I can't do it for me, but I need to do it for him. And that's how I ran away.
Oh my God.
How many kids do you have?
I have one. He's 29.
And that all happened here in the States?
Yeah, at Brooklyn, New York.
God.
What part of Brooklyn?
Yeah. If you stay by the J line.
Yeah, he knows. He walks those beats
So I was in New
back
York.
in the day.
So I was a New York City police officer in Brooklyn, in Brownsville, in East New York.
Okay.
So
He didn't meet his quota, so they made him walk.
Highland Place. I was trying to remember the stop. Highland Place on the J train.
what brought you to that part of Brooklyn? Is that
My
like
ex-husband.
Atlanta?
So he went back. The men would come to America. They would get married, establish themselves, and then Guyanese men go back to my country and look for wives. So he went back looking for wives, and my family just gave me away to him. Like we got married in 3 days.
Oh, wow.
So he sponsored me and brought me, and we lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So was that Guyanese area?
Yes.
It was, right?
Yes, the little Guyana, they call it
Guyana,
little
yeah.
Guyana, yeah.
Wow.
When he went there, how did that work? If you don't mind me asking, that he came for 3 days, like a family member just introduced you. Like, how did that go down? Do you remember? Because you were 20. How old were you?
21.
No, I was 17.
Oh, you were 17 when that happened?
I just got out of high school. In fact, I'm walking home my last day of high school.
Yeah.
And it's strange man sitting there, and they introduced me to him. And it's really weird. I remember my aunt saying, she's really solid, and I didn't know what that meant. Mm-hmm. What do you think she was saying? She was telling him that I am a virgin. I haven't been with anyone.
Really solid. Oh.
Yeah, because I couldn't figure it out. But later
Yeah.
on, as I'm thinking about it
Yeah.
and I'm replaying the stories, I'm writing my book, I realized what she was saying. Right? They were basically, I don't think money was exchanged, but they were basically wanting to get rid of me and giving me away to this man. And I got married to him in 3 days.
Wow.
In 3 days, like it was the saddest thing. I should have brought a picture if you'd seen a picture.
And you didn't have a choice either.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like
What would have
you
happened if you
say
didn't?
no.
If you tried to refuse
They
it?
would have beat her.
The abuse was so bad, like it was just going from the frying pan into the fire. For me, it was just another thing. You've been told what to do all your life. You've been told.
So you got married in 3 days, and then when did you? And then how long did it take to?
So
to New York?
I lived there with them, and then 3 years later, after all the papers came through, he sponsored me. I came to.
Did he visit back and forth?
He visited back and forth every year, and that's when I learned, as he was visiting, that he was totally illiterate. He was a drunk. He was abusive. Found out all those things. For me, that
Over
wasn't
3
new.
years.
Oh, but he came back like 3 weeks. Here you get 3 weeks vacation in normal
Yeah.
corporate, so he will come back, and I found out. But I came here, and I was told I can't use birth control. I couldn't even shave my legs. Can you imagine that? I couldn't shave my
Because
legs.
he didn't like that.
He didn't like that.
Okay.
I couldn't cut my hair. I couldn't do my. I
Yeah.
had a unibrow. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I couldn't. I just
Wow.
had, and it wasn't.
But he liked that too.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just more of a controlling situation.
Yes,
course.
that's where I was going with
But
it.
he also didn't want you to be
That's right.
attracted to other men.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
But it was
yeah.
more controlling. When you control people like that, they have no power. You take their power away.
He didn't
Like,
want you to
and you
look like
control.
pretty or.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was that too. So I got pregnant I was 21, so I got pregnant the first month I was here with our son.
Yeah.
Do you still speak to him or no?
He passed away
Really?
a few years ago alone, and they don't even know how he died, but he just passed away a few years ago.
In New York?
By himself, yeah.
Yeah.
Did
It
your
was just
son
a
have a
sad
relationship with him over the years too?
So my son, it's crazy. I'm telling you, you're a cop, but the judges I don't think anybody really cares about abusive women or men. They gave him visitation. He had tried to hurt us so many times, and they still gave him visitation. He didn't know where we lived, though. We would meet at the train station. And one day, the train's coming, and he was really drunk, and he was harassing me and tossing me around, and somebody said, leave her alone. And he said, but that's my wife. And I'm like, we're no longer married, we're divorced. So he grabbed me, he took me to the end of the train tracks, and he held me over the tracks, and the train's coming.
Oh my goodness.
And I can hear my son screaming for my life, and I must have passed out because when I woke up, I was on the tracks. I was just not on the tracks, on the platform, lying down. And everybody's around me screaming, and I don't know what happened to this day. And my son, he blocked it out. He can't remember what happened. So I told him after that, I was like, if you want visitation, you're going to have to take me to court because I'm going to tell them what you did.
Yeah.
So he didn't try after that. But 5 years later, my son turned 11, and he wanted to be adopted by my husband. I got married, and he wanted to be adopted. So we had to open up that can of worms again, send him the adoption paper and signed a release and everything. And
Did he sign it?
he went to court, and the judge in New Jersey kicked him out of the courtroom.
Good.
When they start asking him questions, like,
Then they can tell.
because he said I kidnapped a little boy, and my son was saying no. And they just kicked him out of the courtroom and gave us full custody. So we didn't see him after that.
Craziness. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you poor thing.
You've definitely been through a lot. So basically, these days you're basically helping people by coaching them with. Is it several people during the week? How does it work? Like, you get clients, people need help, different types of.
Yeah.
things that go on?
So I do different coaching. There is a company called Modern Health, and I upload my calendar to their
Profile.
platform, and they send me clients, so I don't look for clients. But I also have some large gaming companies that I work with in the Valley and in California. I have some gaming companies that I work with, and they send their executives to me, and I coach them.
So in regards to coaching, how does it work? Are you certified with any specific?
Yeah, I have several certifications. I'm certified through what's called the John Maxwell Organization. That's recognized in the U.S., but I'm also certified through International Coaching Federation, and that's one of the most reputable coaching certifications. So,
And basically, you speak at different events and so on.
I speak at different events. Yeah, I have spoken and shared my story or different things at events. I've done that. Yeah.
That's great.
On the podcast, you have a weekly. How long have you been doing the podcast?
I started the podcast last April.
So you just talk about different topics. How does it work? I quickly glanced at some of the content.
I just have people come and share their stories. If you have a story of resilience, you share. If you're going through your problems, you can't come and share until you've gone through it and come to the resilient part of it.
What are you looking at me for?
I was just thinking we should have Janti.
Yeah, I have Janti.
Resilience.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a lot of challenges. You know, I'm a hot mess.
I'd love to have you on my podcast.
Just kidding.
Sure.
We can explain
really know.
all the problems you have.
As long as you came out on the resilient side. I
My
was saying.
problem is coal mire,
I know,
actually.
yeah.
You know,
She told me that. She
weekly.
texted me and said she has
She's
problems.
she's abused by a lot of the legal community.
Whatever, dude. One. You're the.
She has
You are the
I'm not sure
abuse.
you familiar with billboard lawyer syndrome.
Dude, you are. No. He's so full of shit. I get
Is
most
that what
of
she
my.
struggles with? Is that sort of a disease like she struggles with?
I get most of my abuse from him, actually. You know.
I can see
It's
it.
called. She likes to. She denies it, but it's called BLS.
Whatever.
BLS is basically it's kind of
What's BLS?
What's BLS?
it's billboard lawyer
Love.
syndrome.
Billboard
lawyer
love
syndrome?
syndrome.
Billboard lawyer syndrome.
Okay.
BLS. You never heard of it?
He's.
She hasn't
It's
heard of it,
one.
and she's been with you for 17 years.
No, he likes to make up fucking rumors. He likes to start rumors about me, right?
It's very abusive.
He's
You're
trying
the
to say
problem solver.
that he's trying to say that I bang everybody. Honestly, you know, that's what he's
Just
trying
the
to.
billboard legal
That's
community.
what he's mentioning.
Oh my gosh!
It's bullshit.
kind of known.
It's only one.
When she comes on the show, she'll talk about it.
1%.
When she comes on your show, okay.
One.
So listen,
I
Sally.
just love how it's
what-
embellished. You know, you're so full of shit. You know that? You're so full of bullshit.
I make her laugh.
Meanwhile,
see how abusive
she has a right to bang whoever she wants. That's all I'm going to say.
She's
to
very
that.
abusive to me.
Yeah.
So
think
listen,
he's
Sally,
jealous.
what other things would you like to share as we have a few minutes left? Is there anything that you want to share, your wisdom, your thoughts? We will tell people to follow your podcast. I'm assuming you're on Spotify and YouTube and Facebook, all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll tell people that. We'll tell people to also, you have how many books?
I have one book,
One book, and it's called again?
Triumph Over Failure and Fear.
So we'll throw that up on the Problem Solver, that people should buy your book and so on. And anything else you want? Any words of wisdom? So the whole point of the Problem Solver is this. So I like to help people. I'm a retired police officer.
Yeah.
17 years in law enforcement, and I've been out here in Vegas 21 years. My goal is to kind of give back to the community, which I've always done, is helping people. So I'm totally available for people to call the Problem Solver number. We have a phone number, which is 999-1111. Just like the police says 911, this is 1111. People can call different problems. I try to refer them to different places. Like if someone needs coaching or therapy, I say, hey, call Sally. She's great. She's got a podcast. You can learn from her. So I would try to refer people that like I would call in my network of people. So if people needed a lawyer, they needed a therapist, they needed a mortgage agent, whoever it may be, my goal is to basically, surround myself with good people that are trustworthy and honest and refer them in the right direction. So it's kind of like you being interviewed today as well, because now I can say, hey, I know this girl Sally, talk with her. So everyone's a little bit different of the things that you offer, especially maybe because you were in more of an abusive, relationship or abusive past, that someone like yourself that we meet that isn't like an abusive situation, you'd probably be perfect to talk to them because you've been through it. Just like we have different experiences. So I'm all about referring people to good people. So we definitely want to do that. But is there anything that you want to share, wisdom or anything in general that you want to share with us before we finish up?
Yeah, sure. People usually ask me, one of the things I get, like, you've been through some hard things and you got out of it, you came out of it. And I feel like I am living resiliently. And then I would get the comment, but other people are lazy or they just don't want to, right? And I feel like there's such stigmas around that, and it's not true. We have to meet people where they are. I was thinking about this as I was driving here. I think it's so important that we don't judge people and we meet them where they are, because everybody is in a different level of their journey. I was 28 years old when I got out of mine, and then it took me another 10 years to get to where I am today. So we can't look at people and say they deserve what they're getting because they choose not to leave or they choose not to get out of their situation. I feel like everybody, whatever they're dealing with, they have to be ready to get out of it.
Yeah,
so if you're their friend, surround them and be there for them. And when they're ready, they're going to go, but meet them where they are. Don't try to get them to meet you where you are.
Yeah, kudos.
That's great wisdom. Like I said, we'll definitely refer you to people to help out. I will share with you every month. It's called Las Vegas Social Network. There's a luncheon where it's kind of networking and learning and a speaker. I like to have you be a speaker. Normally you talk about 20 minutes and people have questions and answers. So we've actually it's the last Wednesday of every month. Tomorrow, as you know, Dr. Leslie, she's going to be speaking, I guess, kind of like coaching as well in regards, I think she has a different realm than you do.
Right.
So she's going to be speaking tomorrow. Not sure if you know, did you get the...
Oh,
do
yeah,
you
I
want to
saw
come?
that, yes.
So it's at Larry's, the last Wednesday of every month, Larry's.
Yeah.
And then, so if you want, I think maybe even September, October, if you want to come speak in general and then bring your book and stuff like that and share some of your wisdom, stuff like that, it'd be great to have you there, especially, like I say, even if you could just help one person, two people, right? To me, I get great satisfaction with helping people and referring them, in the right places, especially, like I said, as a cop, that's all I would do is go to people's homes and try to solve people's problems. So I do get a high from that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. He helps everybody else. He puts me down, though.
Yeah.
I just try to make her laugh.
Yeah,
so
thanks. Thanks,
it's
Dave.
comical. She's the comedy.
It's how he
portion
shows
of
love,
the podcast.
right? You don't want to know what he'll do if you don't like you.
Exactly. I know. I mean, it takes me back to elementary school when boys were picking on me, and they'd say, "Well, he likes you."
Putting gum in your hair.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Hitting me and stuff like, "Oh, that boy likes you." Oh,
the funny thing is, mine's words, but she's always like always trying to hurt me. Slapping and punching and stuff.
I saw that.
I'm very
she's physically abusive.
I'm trying to make her laugh.
I saw that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so the intimidation.
Gentil's amazing.
She can tell.
She's amazing. But we try to laugh a little bit in general. So Sally, thank you so much, Sally Allen. Thank you so much for joining. Is there a Instagram phone number you want to give out or anything like that people can follow you?
Sure, Sally Allen Podcast.
Okay.
And that's my Instagram handle, Sally Allen Podcast, and also Sally Allen _828. That's my other Instagram. You can follow me there.
Awesome.
Yay.
Thank you.
Follow Sally, guys.
Thank you so
again,
much.
Sally, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great information, and you've definitely been through a lot. When some people think that ourselves that we've been through a lot in our lives, I mean, you've definitely have been through a lot, and you survived it, which is an amazing story. And for you to share that with others, I'm sure it's not easy, but it's definitely, I'm sure it's helpful. It's kind of therapeutic probably for you to talk about it in the same way as you're helping others by showing how you can overcome and be this successful person helping others pay it forward as well. So thank you so much for all that you do for helping mankind, because I know you reach a lot of people,
We so admire you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let us know again with Cambodia when you go back as well.
Yeah.
And then
No, seriously.
maybe we can support or do some
I
things
will go
even,
with you.
or donate some money as well to, for the cause of what you're doing. So again, thank you so much, Sally Allen. Appreciate your time. And thank you so much, Gentil.
Yes. Thank you, Dave.
for sharing your wisdom as usual.
Sure.
So I'm Dave. I'm Dave Comey, the Problem Solver. Again, 702-999-1111. TheProblemSolver.Vegas. Any type of problems that you have, of course, someone like Sally Allen, if we can refer you to her as well, if you're having some problems, you want to talk coaching, mentorship as well. Any type of problem that you have, please reach out to the Problem Solver. Again, thank you so much for joining us this week. Be careful, be safe. We'll see you next week.